Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be covering the Forestry mod. This is a very large mod addition to the pack. It is a Buildcraft edition, and it adds a couple of machines as well as a engine to the system. Now, the most important thing that it adds, in my opinion, is this tree farm. It adds all sorts of farms, but in overall power, the tree farm is king. This is something that is extremely useful, and most players should set up in their world if they're at all interested in using forestry. So to that end, I'm going to be covering how to set up an automatic one that is very efficient. Now, before we begin, I must let you know that this is not the optimal setup. This is a simply easy to set up automatic forestry farm. Now, I'll be covering what you can do to try to optimize it at the at the end of the video. So let's get on to what we have here. We have the arboretum. It takes saplings and humus, and it plants them all around here and puts the saplings down on top of it, and it will automatically do this whenever there's not saplings or not humus there. Now, it also will gather sand, but the sand is not something that it needs, it's rather a byproduct of the humus. When you use the humus to make a tree, let's break this out of the way, a sand block will become where the humus used to be. This is basically because the humus is used up and then sand replaces it. Now, one of the benefits of this is that this system actually generates a load of sand, which could be useful for other purposes, but unfortunately it requires humus, which is kind of a little trickier to make. But we'll cover that at a different point. For the main part of the system, though, we actually have the logger. This does all the hard work, all the heavy lifting. It chops down all the trees, and it picks up all the saplings and apples that are dropped from this. Let's make it daylight again. Now, what I have set up here is a single Stirling engine powering this whole setup. Not only the logger and the arboretum, but this powered furnace. This powered furnace generates the coal that is needed for the Stirling engine. However, despite the fact that I have a very weak engine here powering an entire system of stuff, this actually runs it pretty well. It manages to keep up overall pretty nice with all the growth of the trees. It manages to pick up all the items before they despawn. And it manages to keep them planted and constantly popping up, as well as constantly converting the logs into coal. Now, this system has some downsides. It's not as fast as it could be. Attaching a second Stirling engine would certainly help solve that matter, but it would also increase the complexity of the pipes. What I have here is basically the simplest pipe setup you can do to streamline everything. So let me explain what's going on here. The logger will output logs onto its left, right, or any of the sides, as well as putting saplings and apples into the top or bottom slots. As you can see, some saplings there. So what I have set up is this pipe that runs down the side that carries out the logs, and this pipe that carries out the saplings. Now, the saplings are going directly into the arboretum from the top. Now, this is to basically make sure that the arboretum's constantly stocked with saplings, so you really never have to worry about refilling it with saplings. You do, however, have to worry about the humus. Now, we also have it connecting to this iron pipe because it also will output apples as well as extra saplings. So they will go down this iron pipe and come out into this sandstone pipe. This is a very underused pipe that will make it not connect to machines, so we can easily bypass the arboretum so we don't put any items into it that we don't want. Alternatively, you don't actually have to do this. You can simply add a golden pipe here, and it will just only put in saplings. It's actually an extremely smart system, and so no items will actually go in there anyways. But I hate that look. It just looks bad to me. So instead we're going to use a sandstone pipe because we like it to look good. Now, down here we have a diamond pipe. It simply puts oak wood, which is the type of wood that's produced from this farm, into the powered furnace, and the powered furnace burns it. Now, the cool thing about the powered furnace is this is a thermal expansion mod, And because of this, it has this nice little configuration, and we can actually tell it what sides we want it to take items from and what sides we want to put the items out. It by default will configure this to be putting the items out, but I have configured it to be putting the items out this slot. Now, this is a little confusing, but this is top at the top, bottom at the bottom, left and right, and then back at the bottom right corner. So once you get used to it, though, it's pretty simple. And the cool part about it is, as you can see here, I can output the items out the bottom, unlike IC2 machines where I have to output them out the sides. Now, they also have another cool property, which is you might notice there's no redstone engines. This is because both Forestry and Thermal Expansion will automatically output their items into into wooden pipes from the Buildcraft 2's pipe system. This saves you a lot of time and a lot of engines and space when you're setting this up. So now that we've seen this kind of basic setup, this is just how all the items get from the logger to either the chest or into the furnace. Now, what I have down here is how the Stirling engine is powered. The Stirling engine is powered by charcoal, so I have its line, blue, littered with charcoal. However, I have one charcoal and one sand in this red line, which is this way. You might notice the redstone torches in two of the other slots. This is to prevent items from going that direction. It will only send items down those paths that are identified in the diamond pipe, but since no redstone torches will ever be in this pipe system, it will never go down this way. This is to prevent it from backing up or sending items the wrong way. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to compact my piping. Basically over here on the back of the arboretum we pull out the sand, and we pull out the sand and just send it down using another sandstone pipe and run it through another wooden pipe, another little trick, because I have a wooden pipe here, but wooden pipes will not connect to each other at all. So I can simply use a wooden pipe to get past it and then easily put it into it with a iron pipe into the diamond pipe sorter. So this prevents any weird backups or anything. You don't actually need to do this. The thermal expansion machines are smart enough. You could simply disable the backside and items won't be able to go into it, and it won't accept items from the red slot. So you could just place an iron pipe here and run the pipe directly into it. But I think this looks better, and I wanted to showcase that you can use these redstone torches to stop items from going the wrong directions. And after all of that, the extra charcoal and the sand from the arboretum will go into this chest, which all nicely collects neat and orderly. Now, I want to show you something, but this is not what you should do. If I break this pipe, you'll notice that now the sand should have nowhere to go. But that's not true. This system, for whatever reason, the sand will automatically be deposited into this pipe right here, and it will automatically go through and correctly place itself into this chest. This is not sensible, though. It doesn't seem like it should do that. The sand should not be able to come out the top in this system. However, the sand does indeed come out, and it will appear here and go down the pipe. But if they ever fix that bug, then you see, there it is. It just appeared in the pipe. And as you can see, it appeared again. It appears in this iron pipe and can't go out that direction, so then it just drops down. But this is not how you should be running this. That is a very buggy way of doing it. So instead, properly set up your pipes for when that gets fixed. So yeah, but that's a little neat trick you can do if you want to even cut out more of the piping. Now, as I said earlier, this is not the most efficient way of doing this. This is because the logger has actually a huge range. You can actually set up a logger at this point right here, and you'd be able to harvest all the way to that side and all around it. So if you're going to be making a big, huge farm, you can actually make it much more efficiently by placing farms around the loggers rather than putting them in the center here. However, this is just a really nice, easy setup. Also, this system is slightly slow. A second Stirling engine would help speed it up noticeably. However, a second Stirling engine would also complicate the piping. If you're curious how you would set it up though for a second Stirling engine, you can simply place the Stirling engine here, make sure we get our wooden conductive pipes, we already have them on the bar, place another wooden conductive pipe, another gold conductive pipe, like that. You can also, oh whoops, didn't mean to do that. You can also, if you're trying to be space conservative, use the Stirling engine like here and here, and then give it some charcoal, But the trick here is now you've made your piping a lot less, clean. And how you would handle it, in my opinion, if you're going to be doing this, would be you would simply run a another pipe right off here. Whoops. Or actually, no, you wouldn't want to run a pipe like that because this won't help it with being loaded. So if you're running a second engine, unfortunately your only choice is to run yet another diamond pipe off the engine. Now I am particularly staying away from Buildcraft pneumonic tubes. Someone did tell me how to pronounce that, pneumonic tubes, because from Red Power the pneumonic tubes do not work with the Buildcraft compatible machines, so you have to do a lot of fancy trickery if you want to actually get them to work. But if you wanted it to go like this, this is how I'd do it, and then I would run a secondary pipe this way and run it back to the chest like that. There we go. That's more sensible. And man, you can't even see the sandstone against the sandstone. Let me go scratch that and put some gold pipe there. You can't even see sand on sand. Sorry for the little bit of busy work, but I hadn't actually set this second Stirling engine up yet. So let me put down some golden pipes, golden pipes, golden pipes, golden pipe, golden pipe. And then we do need one sandstone pipe to bypass that engine. And then down the green side, we'd simply want to split the charcoal so that we have, oh, we're going to grab some, so that we have some of the charcoal going that way. And then again, into the yellow side, we're going to want to put most of the charcoal. And then into the green side, we're going to want to put just enough charcoal that it could go the other way. And this system will now send some charcoal to this engine, some charcoal to that engine, and all the rest of the charcoal back here. But this is a little ugly for piping, and I'm sure it could be done a little more efficiently, but yeah, that's just kind of how you would do it if you want a second Stirling engine. Keep in mind that this does help speed up how fast it gets rid of all the trees, and so you don't have as many leaf blocks floating around. Even though I've only had this up for a brief bit of time, it's already showing how well it works. So yeah, now one thing I want to cover is that this thing generates a lot of saplings. This can be used to your advantage. In my next video, I'm going to be detailing how you can set up the system to use something different. I'm going to show you it. It is called a forester. This is basically like placing bone meal on the trees directly, but automatic. However, this system does not have enough power to utilize it so easily. So in my next video, I'm going to be covering how to set up the forester, as well as how to use biogas engines instead of Stirling engines. So look forward to that. Thank you and have a good day.